Hi everyone, today I'm going to do a haul for you, but I thought I'd do it a little bit differently this time. I'm going to show you what I've got and then do a demo a la Tara Baby style because I find that really helpful and I hope you will too. So first thing I've picked up is this Charlotte Tilbury Unisex Healthy Glow. I admit I did fall to the hype when I heard Wayne Goss talk about it and I was really curious to know what this product was all about. Essentially, it is a tinted moisturizer. It's kind of strange because it comes out as a white liquid, but then as you move it around your hand, there are tiny pigmented like particles to it that are kind of grainy, and it kind of gives your face that kind of tanned, bronzed look. It's very strange. I've got on right now. I quite like it, but it doesn't wear very well, and to be honest, it's kind of quite expensive for what it is really. It's 40 ml of product and it's 60 Australian dollars from the Charlotte Tilbury website. Not sure if I would repurchase that. Next thing I got was the Natasha Denona Sunset Palette. It was restocked on Beautylish. I had signed up for the emails and I was really disappointed when I didn't hear from Beautylish when it was restocked, like a lot of other people. I commented on their Instagram and they actually reached out to me and said, can you email them? So I did, and they actually sent me one, which I thought was awesome. They ordered it for me. Obviously I paid for it, but I'm glad to have gotten my hands on this. I have used this a few times now and I really do like shade selection, and the mattes are really beautiful. They've got that new matte formula which they had in their star palette and I find it really good, and I really like some of the shimmery shades as well. I think that if you wanted to get something that was a little bit more affordable, the Colourpop one Yes Please palette is, from what I've seen, looks like a good alternative, although that one is sold out too, even after the restock, which is kind of unfortunate. Then I've got two more palettes. I am a little bit palette crazy, and I could not pass up on these Juvia's Place palettes. This one is the Zulu by Juvia's. It came out not too long ago, but it's got 9 shades in here. 6 of them are matte, 3 of them are shimmers. Obviously, with shades like this, you will definitely need to pair them with a more neutral palette to get a rounded look, because you aren't going to get that with bright colors like this here, because there's no transition, there's no brow bone highlight, all that sort of stuff. If that bothers you, then this is probably not going to be one for you. The Saharan one, I would say you could come up with a complete look, because there are some other shades in here, like Katsina would be a good transition shade. There is no brow bone highlight except for this Iman, which is a silver shade. I don't know, I personally don't like to highlight my brow bone with a metallic silver, but the shade that really caught my eye was Sokoto, which is that gorgeous like bright neon watermelon shade, and I really, really like this one. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually bought more Beauty Bakerie lip whips. I do want to do a take 2 with them and apply them the way that Kashmir Nicole, she recently did a video on how to apply these, the do's and the don'ts, and I have got the Gabby Douglas collection, so I think I'm going to try and use these again with her suggested method of application, which is basically layering them on one by one, waiting 30 seconds in between, and making sure you don't smack your lips in between each application, which I don't anyway. I'd like to see how these compare, especially the metallic shades, because the metallic shades that I do have were complete duds for me. They were really streaky, they weren't pigmented at all, but when I swatch these on my hands, these do look a lot nicer. Then I've got this Addiction liquid eyeliner. I bought this in the shade Tokyo Story 01 from Ichibankao, which is a site that sells all these Japanese beauty products from Japan, and they stock one of my favorite brands, Addiction. I bought this one because I really like the shade, and also I have one of their other eyeliners in a forest green, which is gorgeous. It is super pigmented, it lasts the whole day. Unfortunately, this one, it's just a letdown. The shade is really nice, but it is streaky. You have to layer it at least 2 or 3 times in order for the opaqueness to be at that really nice opacity, which bothers me because I don't want to have, I paid about 48 Australian dollars for this, and if it's not pigmented, it's kind of like a bit of waste of money, because $48 is a lot for a liquid eyeliner, which is 3.5 mils. It's not really that much. Would not repurchase, unfortunately. I I did also pick up 8 matte shades from the MILF collection by Darling Girls Cosmetics. They are all mattes. I really was attracted to them because I saw swatches on Firenix's website and she was raving about them being really pigmented and nice. Personally, I have only used 2 shades, but I do find them a little bit tricky to work with because they do go on very pigmented, but they didn't blend out that easily. Maybe I wasn't using the right brushes or whatever, so I need to play around with them a little bit more before I can decide whether or not I would actually use these a bit more and recommend them. They do have, you can buy them in the full sizes or the minis. The full sizes do come with a sifter, but the small ones don't, so just be aware if that something that bothers you. Personally, I don't really mind because what I like to do is with the smaller sizes, I just tip a little bit into the back of the lid and then just go ahead and apply that to my brush. They have some really nice shades in here, like this bright sort of blue shade, as well as this other one, light blue. Yellow, I'm really liking yellows these days. And they had some gorgeous shades on their website, all very affordable as well. Another face product I got was from The Ordinary. These are their 2 foundations. I got their Serum foundation and their Coverage foundation. Both of them are in the shade 2.1Y. These are way too dark for me. I really overestimated how tan I am because I'm obviously not a medium shade. I'm probably more light to medium. I would recommend watching Beauty News's swatch videos to get an idea of what shade you are. I think they did an awesome job with swatching all of the shades from The Ordinary, and that would have helped when selecting shades. It's annoying because they're always out of stock, so even if I wanted to get my shade, I've been on the waiting list and I haven't heard back. So what I have been doing with these is mixing in some Cover FX custom drops to get my perfect shade, and that seems to do the job. So at the moment, I have tried the Coverage foundation. I don't think it's too bad. I wouldn't say it's, from the 2 times that I have used it, I wouldn't say that it's my favorite foundation ever, but it does work quite well, especially with the high spreadability primer. It works really well with this. In fact, I really like this primer. I think it's fantastic. And then the Serum foundation, which I have yet to try, but I will be doing that over the next few days. Last thing I picked up were these lashes by House of Lashes. I picked up 5 pairs. I am wearing one right now. I picked up the Boudoir Lite, the Iconic Lite, the Noir Fairies Lite, which is what I'm wearing now, and the Wispy minis, as well as the Siren minis. I found that these light versions look a lot more flattering on my eyes than some of the heavier ones and the more dramatic ones. They can make my eyes look really heavy and not flattering at all. So I'm glad that they brought out some minis, and I bought these when they're on sale, so that was even better. So I think that's pretty much everything I bought. If you want to see a demo on how I got these looks using some of these products, then just keep watching. So at the moment, I've got nothing on my face except for my Suku brow powder, which I've just put on my eyebrows because I don't have any new brow products. And I'm going to go in with this Charlotte Tilbury Unisex Healthy Glow. It is a all-year hydrating summer tint moisturizer. It doesn't provide really much coverage for a tinted moisturizer. It's quite sheer, and so if you have a lot of unevenness to your skin, you probably need to go with foundation on top of this. It's funny because it kind of comes out like a white liquid, but as you work it into your skin, it does kind of have a bit of a pigment to it. It's kind of like a, I don't know, a medium tone bronzy beige shade. So I don't really see how it can be unisex because I don't think this would work on, you know, super dark skin tones. As you can see, it has kind of got that orangey, bronzy kind of tint to it. I kind of wish that it had SPF because I would need to then go in with a moisturizer, and I don't like adding tons of layers to my face. So yeah, that's one downside to it. I did want to try it out because I heard so many people talking about it, and it just kind of piqued my interest a little bit. I'm going to do this side of my face so you can see the difference. It does darken the skin, does give it a little bit of there is a bit of pigment in it, obviously. So this is the side with the Unisex Healthy Glow. It has darkened my skin a little bit. It has covered a few of the pigmentation spots that I get. But obviously, yeah, it's not a foundation or anything like that. So if you need coverage, more coverage than this, then you would need to go in and add that. So this is what my skin looks like after applying one layer to both sides of the face. It does feel quite moisturizing and a little bit tacky. And obviously I have worn this out before without anything on top of it, and you know, being a moisturizer, it does sort of like, eventually it gets, you know, absorbed into the skin and you don't really feel it anymore. And kind of as the day goes by, it kind of, in my opinion, once I looked in the mirror after a full day, it kind of looked like I had nothing at all on my skin, which I guess, you know, it is a tinted moisturizer, so I didn't really expect my skin to look as it did 8 hours earlier when I had first applied it. So yeah, I mean, this is great for people who like that no makeup look and have generally good skin. But for me, I kind of feel like $60 for this is fairly overpriced for a tinted moisturizer. So I'm not going to go in with concealer yet because I do want to try these Darling Girl Cosmetics loose eyeshadows, and being that they're loose, there may be a crap ton of fallout, so I might have to clean up later and I'll do the concealer after. But before I do any of that, I am going to go in with my Electric Eye Primer by Concrete Minerals, which is generally the primer that I go for when I'm priming my eyelids. I like this primer, and it is also fairly inexpensive as well, and it's lasted quite a while. So I have got 8 of these matte eyeshadows from Darling Girl Cosmetics. I actually have never tried their eyeshadows before, but I've heard that they were really good. I think I'm going to go with Afternoon Delight because it's a really nice kind of pink shade. It looks quite nice, and I do want to pair it with my Addiction by Ayako red eyeliner, and I think those two would complement each other. It is quite pigmented, which is nice. I have no idea what kind of eye look I'm gonna go I'm doing, so I'm just gonna make it up as I go ahead. So all the eyeshadows in the MILF collection are pretty much bright colors. There's no real, I think there are some browns, but I didn't pick them up. So I'm gonna go in with a bright color here and then probably dip from another palette just to get some transition shades and all that sort of stuff to kind of round out this look, because I'm not sure if I just want to have this color on my eyes. These aren't really the easiest to blend, actually. I'm going to take this darker shade in Indecent Proposal and put this in the outer V. It's sort of like a rusty red shade. If you went a bit overboard, hopefully you can blend it out a little bit, because I feel like I did kind of go a bit further out than I wanted to. These really aren't the easiest eyeshadows to blend, which is a real pity. And it does look a little bit patchy, especially on this side. I'm not sure why, especially on this side compared to the other side. But I'm gonna go in with another palette and just try and add some transition and try and blend it out and make it look a little less crazy. So I'm gonna dip into my Natasha Denona Sunset palette and take the shade Bermuda, which is this matte sort of pink shade here and just put that shade into my crease area and try and blend it out a bit so it doesn't look so heavy. I'm actually going to take a little bit more of Indecent Proposal and add that to my lower lash line as well. It's looking really grungy right now, but I am going to add some concealer just so that I don't look like I'm dead. I'm going to go in with the shade Ice Gold and use that as brow bone highlight. It has a bit of a iridescence to it, but it doesn't look overly shimmery. It doesn't look very shimmery, so I kind of like that because I don't really like to put very shimmery shades under my brow bone. Before I go in with concealer, I'm going to take this liner from Addiction. I bought this because I actually have the forest green shade, which I wore in a previous video in my favorite lipsticks for work video, and I really like the liner. My sister has the red one, and unfortunately I feel like this one is not as pigmented. I just feel like it needs to be layered more than once in order to get that really nice opaqueness, unfortunately. As you can see, it's kind of quite sheer, so you need to build it up. And it is extremely liquidy, so I don't recommend this for people that if you can't see your eyelid when you're putting your makeup on, like if you've got hooded eyes or monolids, it's very wet, so as you look up, it's gonna transfer everywhere. I like the shade though, I just wish it was more opaque. A bit of fallout from the loose eyeshadow, so I'm going to go in with some concealer, and I'm using my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer, which I quite like. Nothing new or special or anything, just my everyday concealer, and works really well. It's really quick. Not the most hygienic sponge thing ever, but works well for me. Now, Darling Girl also included a sample of their Coquette Soft Focus Blush. It's in a little sample bag like this, and I might try this out because I don't have a new blush to try. So as usual, I'm going to go in with my Wayne Goss the Airbrush, which is a great brush, and I use it for pretty much all my face products. It's quite a pretty flush of color. It's it looked metallic, not metallic, but shimmery in the bag, but it actually goes on matte. I really like this blush. It's really nice. So I'm gonna go in with some liquid lipstick. I never thought I would do this, but I did pick up more Beauty Bakerie liquid lip whips. And I think I'm gonna take this shade here. This is part of the Gabby Douglas collection. I kind of have mixed feelings about Beauty Bakerie lip whips. They are super long lasting, more long lasting than any of the liquid lipsticks I've ever tried, but they are a pain in the ass to apply. They don't feel great on the lips either, so it's a trade-off. Anyway, I think I'm gonna try and match my kind of eye look, so I'm gonna go in with this shade Sangria. So that's one layer applied very, very roughly. I'm gonna wait 30 seconds before I apply another layer. Okay, so now that this first layer is dry, I'm gonna take some more and layer it on. So this is what it looks like with 2 layers on. I feel like it possibly could go with a third, but it's fairly opaque already. It's just, with these darker shades, it's kind of trickier with application. So, but yeah, it's fairly opaque, and I think the shade is quite nice. Before I finish off this look, I am gonna try one of the House of Lashes falsies that I bought. I did buy a whole bunch of lights and some minis as well, and because I've got a cat eye, I think I'm gonna try and use one that has lashes that lengthen to the edges. So I'll probably use this Noir Fairy Light. I'm gonna apply them off camera because I need to trim them and apply them, and it's boring. If you want to see how to apply falsies, there's a whole bunch of YouTube videos floating around that are helpful. So lashes are on. I feel like even though these are the light version, they're still super dramatic. I have to say though, with House of Lashes I tend to have to cut off quite a bit because the length of my eye isn't that long. And even though I've sort of inserted them in almost half a centimeter or a centimeter from the inner corners of my eye, they do have a weird strand of hair that goes like that. So I probably will cut that off in future. But overall, I do quite like these. I think they look quite fluttery and seductive. So this is the final look. I've actually added another layer of sangria on my lips because I feel like it wasn't opaque enough. But overall, I think that this look is quite nice. I enjoy these kind of berry shades. They're right up my alley, so I am liking the whole look, even though there were a few hits and misses. If there's anything that you'd like to see a review on that I've mentioned in this video, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Anyway, thank you for sticking around for the demo, following the haul. I hope you found this useful, and if you want to see a review, an in-depth review on any of these things, let me know, and I will do my best to get it up. That sounds weird.